Next, we'll invite Superintendent Dixon for your superintendent's report. And you'll need to turn your mic on.
Okay, getting used to old systems again. It's awesome. So thank you for giving me some time. I have a few things today. I want to shift my superintendent's reports back to what I used to do, is to provide some accountability on the strategic plan. So the things I'm going to share with you today are a little bit of fun and celebration, but also making sure that we report to you how we're making progress on the strategic plan. And, you know, this background to me just represents the busyness of summer. I'm always interested when I run into people who think we kind of take the summer off and eat bonbons. And that has never been my experience as an educator. And in this role, we're certainly busy. And sometimes we can sneak in a vacation. That has not been the case for me this summer. But it's just, I've loved this summer and reconnecting with educators especially. I've had several of you ask me, what do we do here in case of an emergency? Do we have a plan? And we do have a continuity of operations plan. It's not publicly posted because, of course, there are things in there that are akin to safety in just beyond natural disasters. So we are prepared if there's an earthquake, if there's unrest downtown, whatever it is, and we need to evacuate. We also have a subset of emergency plans, but we turn in a continuity of operations plan every year to state emergency services. And this is about the time of year that we do that. So we spent some time reviewing our continuity plan. We think that there are some things that we can improve upon, as well as making sure that we weave this into induction. So we're going to be developing a video that is part of our new employee induction so that they know where, you know, if we have a drill, where do I go? What do I do? So those are the kinds of things that we want to improve and make sure we have seamless communication. I want to talk a little bit about our strategic plan and the goal that we have around effective educators and leaders. And Board Member Straight, you stole a little bit of my thunder, so I'm just going to add some depth to what you talked about, if that's all right. It was awesome. Thank you. You might recall that one of our strategies is changing the perception of teaching as a profession. And I'm always fascinated by how many people say they want to be a teacher, and then you drill down a little bit, and sometimes it's about money, or it's about the work, or, you know, just there might be a number of issues. So this board took on the strategy to say, we want to do something about that. Board Member Earl was especially a champion around that, and she brought forward a request to have you allocate $25,000 of the carry forward funds in order to do something very specific. So the request was to make educator videos, which we thought was a great undertaking. And you saw one of those today, and I'll show you another one in a minute. But we collected data from the educator engagement survey that we sent out. There were two surveys. One was a really broad engagement survey that asked a number of questions, and you can see the end size of the responses on both of these. So we took some of those questions to determine, how do we break these into smaller chunks? Instead of watching a 45-minute video, could there be excerpts that were very focused on a topic? And from those surveys, that's where we generated the questions and the ideas. Darren Nelson was our lead on this project, by the way. We put out an RFP because even though we have the amazing Jerry and his team of one sometimes and half sometimes, we felt like we needed to hire a company that could really help us expedite this and do a professional job. So the RFP was given to Mainframe Digital. And then we sent out this invitation to all of our superintendents and charter directors. And we told them the purpose of what we were doing, how it would happen, and asked them to send us nominations. You can see that we got 205. I know as a principal, it would have been really hard to highlight just one teacher. So even though we have about 30,000 educators, I don't want you to look at this and say, really, only 200? I mean, for some, I think it would have been really hard to pull one out. So of those, 35 were selected to perhaps interview. And then we had some guardrails put around, here's a time that we need you to come in. Can you come to our green room and engage in this filming? Can we come to your school? So then that narrowed it down a little bit more. As Board Member Straight indicated, we came up with 16 vignettes that are based on themes. And then we also have a lot of raw footage. So we'll be able to use that footage in future projects. So I want to thank Board Member Earl for championing the cause. I want to thank the board for putting $25,000 forward. And now these are on the board's YouTube channel. You'll recognize Teacher of the Year. The one you're going to see here features our Teacher of the Year finalists. And this theme is Teaching is Dynamic. And the hashtag Teach with Joy is something that I talked to our communications team about last year, just thinking of all the stress and the challenges and wanting teachers to come back this year just so excited and full of joy. So this is I think it's about 2 minutes.
There is no profession more dynamic than teaching. There is no artist more creative, an educational practitioner at the height of their powers and their
Really
craft.
quiet, Jerry. I don't know
Every day
what
is
to tell you.
different than the day before. No kid is exactly the same as any kid I've had before.
Even if I have the same lesson, there's different
All right, I'm going to
students, there's
stop
different
that
things are
there
happening,
because it's really
and
hard
all
to
of those
hear.
pieces coming together
Oh,
make it such a
yay.
wonderful
Okay,
experience.
let's start it over
I
then.
love that I never have the same day twice. I get to wake up every day.
Start
There is
that over.
no profession more dynamic than teaching. There is no artist more creative than an educational practitioner at the height of their powers and their craft. Every day is different than the day before. No kid is exactly the same as any kid I've had before.
Even if I have the same lesson, there's different students, there's different things that are happening, and all of those pieces coming together make it such a wonderful experience.
I love that I never have the same day twice. I get to wake up every day excited to go and hear what my students want to tell me about.
It's very creative. You're in different situations every single day. I get to be with different kids every single year and put that huge impact on their lives. I'll do that any day over and over and over again because I know the reward is so big.
So again, I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, and even if you just have 2 minutes and you want to get buoyed up by hearing the excitement in teachers, please do so. I've been having a lot of conversations with parents, reading emails over the summer, and I've been trying to look for themes. What are some themes of things that we can do better in the classroom? And I've been out giving keynotes and talking to various groups, and I've been talking to superintendents, charter directors, and others to say, here are 4 themes that keep popping up that I'm noticing of things that maybe we could do a better job on with teacher preparation and the teachers who are working in the field right now. The first is how we engage parents as partners. And if we really want to engage them as true partners, we're really clear about the materials that we're using, what we're teaching, having conversations about the needs of their individual student. So when we talk about getting personalized, it's about those needs of individual children, but reflecting overall about the digital tools that we have in place. We have a statewide contract for Canvas. Makes it very easy now for parents to be able to get on and see the content, the materials that are being used, and what will be taught for the week. So teachers that are doing that well have those great authentic partnerships with parents. The second thing I noticed is that there have been some samples where a teacher might click on a link or add a link because the title looks great, or they might read the first paragraph. And so they attach that to a lesson plan, and it may not be material that's either age appropriate or even linked to the standard, or in some cases may have things in there that aren't appropriate for schools. So we have to do a better job for our teachers of things that we send out, but at the same time, this is for teachers to really get clear instead of grabbing something off of Pinterest or a teacher website, making sure that they thoroughly go through whatever that material is. Third is to really understand what is age appropriate. This was something when I was a principal that I had to work with some teachers on. They might use a vocabulary list that was really meant for high school in a younger classroom, or they might do an activity that might have been really appropriate in a high school history class, but not really appropriate for second grade. So understanding that it's not just about something that looks fun or exciting, but is it appropriate at the age level that they're teaching. And then fourth, I think if we could get our teachers to stay politically neutral, that it would be most helpful. It doesn't negate those rich and wonderful conversations that should happen in the classroom. But if a teacher feels passionate about a political candidate or a president, or passionate for or against, that alienates a lot of children and their families. If there's something that crops up that a teacher tries to put their perspective into the classroom for influence, it can alienate a lot of children. So the key is for our teachers to have those rich, wonderful conversations, but stay politically neutral. And I think that goes for religion and all sorts of things, just staying in that neutral zone. So those are the 4 reflections that I've had, and you might have others, but some things that I picked up as I have read emails and talked to various people. And I've been sharing these out in the field. I want to highlight the work of Portrait of a Graduate. We're holding fast to this Portrait of a Graduate. It's something else that I've shared with parents and community members, and they've gotten very excited about. We know that school systems are taking this and running with it and using their own vocabulary and working with their Portrait of a Graduate, which was the intent. This is an aspirational document. But we gathered people together, about 140 educators, and if you looked at Twitter or social media where they were posting about their enthusiasm, it really put them on fire about the way forward. We had 13 of our department, of our employees who took each one of those characteristics and facilitated the work. So we were really engaged in building this out and looking at the competencies and what might it look like in the classroom to help put meaning and some understanding behind those 13 competencies. We partnered with KnowledgeWorks. They're a great partner in this space. And as our wonderful Sarah Young indicated, it was innovative, informative, and invigorating. And we heard that over and over again from the participants. I want to highlight the Rural Schools Conference. Each year, our office provides funding for rural schools. This in the past has come from mineral lease, but we're kind of low on mineral lease. So we'll continue to support them because this conference brought 700 educators from rural Utah together. And they taught in charters and district schools, but they learned a lot. The keynotes were excellent. The breakouts were led by, I think, 35 of our employees led some of the breakouts, but they heard from teachers. And they laughed and had fun. So it was a great experience. I want to thank the board members who actually attended the conference. I think we had 5 overall attend, if I'm remembering right. So thank you so much for being there. It was excellent. And that ends my report, but if it's okay with you, Chair Huntsman, I just want to leave it open if anybody has a comment or a question.
Questions or comments? I was just wondering on the rural, it's been a little bit amazing to me as it started getting quite a bit of momentum and growth and participation pre-pandemic, but I was totally, well, as I even tried to get in there, I kept finding out there's no room at the inn. The place was packed. Is there anything that we should be doing on our end to help assist in any way to make more of an opportunity for the teachers? There was teachers that couldn't go. Mm-hmm. So is there?
I think they're looking at capacity. When they started a few years ago, if I'm remembering correctly, talking to the RESA directors, I think capacity was 200, and they held it at 700 and let a few more squeeze in. I think they ended up with about 720. So it's really the venue. They held it at Richfield High School and spilled over into the Snow College campus right there. They held it at CEU a couple of years ago. So it's really trying to find a central rural place where people can access, have places to stay, have places to eat, and have places to engage. I think they're talking about some virtual options as well. Maybe they'll have to break it up and have two, I don't know. They're working on it, but it really is one of the best things that I've attended, just to feel their energy and excitement and hear from them. They're really open about sharing best practice and what they're learning. And they are there not just to get points for licensure. They are really excited about being together. Some of our rural communities are starting to pull together to do opening institutes. So Paiute, Wayne, and Tintic are meeting together this year so that they have more teachers and some collaboration. So I think they're starting to find ways to self-organize as well.
I was just curious on the funding side if there's, I
think-
haven't heard of a concern.
No,
but
the funding
that-
seems okay at this
The
point.
funding source is okay? All right, thank you. Member Hanson?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to tell our superintendent, thank you for particularly those 4 items that you mentioned about engage, vet, ensure, and stay. I think we've been having a lot of interesting and difficult conversations over the past few months related to equity and CRT and that sort of thing, along with a lot of other parent and teacher involvement. And I think those are some of the lessons that I've learned as well. And I think that these can go a long way to kind of heal this rift that we're feeling in the state. If we can have parents and teachers working as teams, we can have that transparency and maybe a little bit more caution as far as vetting and introducing age-appropriate materials. So thank you for kind of distilling all that and putting that out for us today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Member Hart?
Yeah, I'd like to echo that as well. It is time, to bring our teachers back, and we're looking forward to a new year. I would hope that those materials are maybe quickly turned around so that principals and district folks have some access to some resources to share and kind of introduce those ideas to their teachers in a meaningful way. We've got on the ground, we're trying to get ready for a new year. There's a lot swirling in the background, and anything that can be provided, high quality materials to share with teachers, talking points, resources around those exact 4 points, I think is really how change will occur. And that's really where the public's asking for support, teachers are asking for support. So I just really echo what Member Hanson said and look forward to the resources provided to practitioners to do exactly what you outlined on the screen. Thank you.
Member Earl?
Yeah, I would echo the same thing, and I'm appreciative of, I was able to go to the superintendent's meeting last week, and those same things were emphasized there, which should help that trickle-down effect to make sure those are addressed locally. Hopefully, it'll continue to be pushed down. I'm appreciative of Darren, where's Darren Nelson, and the outcome of the videos. I think I watched most of them yesterday, so if you take a few minutes, I thought they were well done. There was one classroom I thought, I wonder if I can get, when is she doing her next? Because it was the whole class. They transformed the whole class into a deep sea, and I'm trying to remember the other ones, but it was very fascinating, and then the activities that went around it. So, maybe I'm going to give something away here, but her sister worked there and both their husbands worked in the same school. So whatever, it was kind of this, anyways, it was interesting dynamics at this particular location. But I feel like we do need to put a positive image out there, but then we need to back it with positive policies that strengthen our educators and our families and our students. And this is a good beginning to that. So I am appreciative of the actions that are being taken.
Superintendent, I'm not seeing any other questions or comments. That
Thank you
concludes
for
your
the time.
report?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you.